today we will focus on the setting up or acquiring a business in China. And our teacher is Yuming Xu. He is a professional and skilled lawyer with 7 years practice in China. And he got his lawyer's practice lessons in Illinois, America, and both in China. And he graduated from the Northwest University and get her master's degree in Michigan University. And now let me invite Mr. Shi to you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Beijing. Welcome to the great Chinese legal jurisdiction. And I got my JD from Michigan State University and my LLM in taxation in Northwestern. Today, we will discuss and share some knowledge on setting up a Chinese domestic business within China. And before we get into today's subject, I want to share some learning skill with you. And how to learn Chinese law effectively. Chinese legal system is a civil law system with mixed characteristics from common law system. So I believe some of you are from civil legal system countries. No? All from common law system? Okay. And civil law system is called concept legal school. If you want to understand some legal system, for example, a corporate legal system, you must grasp some basic concepts of civil code. And there is no civil code in China, but we do have general principles of civil code. Especially for today's subject, we began our discussion from the Chinese General Principles of Civil Code, Article 37, and it's Chapter 3. There are 156 articles of these general principles. When I began to study Chinese laws, I try my best to remember all these articles, 156. Remember and recite. Everything in civil law, I mean besides criminal law, constitutional law, all the other legal systems in China, especially in corporate and equal civil legal relationships between equal parties, you have to refer to these general principles of civil code of China. Remember, for example, today we will discuss setting up a Chinese corporation. We begin the discussion with the character of Chinese corporation. I cannot turn the 2 pages. Okay. What's the nature of a Chinese corporation? In the Article 37 of the General Principles of Civil Code, it says that There is no reference of this code in my PPT, so you have to remember this article. It says that any corporation or a corporation is a legal person. And if you set up a corporation, that should be a legal person. What's a legal person? Article 37 says, legal person should be established, one, established legally. Legally means, in China, both formalistically and substantially. Formally, you should satisfy all the forms in the provisions of the relevant laws and regulations. Second condition, there should be necessary property or necessary money, especially a certain amount of monetary valued properties. There should be something to be valued in this legal person. Otherwise, you cannot be a legal person. Third, name, organization, and business place. A legal person should have a name, just like a natural person. Business place, there should be a business place, production place, factory for a legal person. And organization. Which kind of organization? It's a management, production organization. And finally, condition 4. A legal person should be responsible for civil liability. It should bear civil liability, just like another person, independently. This means, in legal sense, a legal person equals a natural person. We should understand business, especially if a legal person in these different 4 conditions. Now, we can get into today's subject, corporate. How many categories of business enterprises you can set up in China? How many? By enterprise, what's the meaning of enterprise? If we can separate enter from price, I understand price in something like for profit. Enter means get into something for profit. That means enterprises, the enterprise. Corporation is a legal person set up for profit business. We can define a corporation in this way. If we just learned the Article 37 of General Principles of Civil Code of China. The second category of business, partnership. Generally speaking, partnership is also some personal association for business, mainly for profit. In China, you can understand it in this way, mainly profit, for profit, if we can also regard some partnership as enterprise. Enterprise is a bigger concept than cooperation, partnership, and the third category, the last one, solo practice, solo investment enterprises. That means a business enterprise set up by one person. One person. One natural person? Yes. One legal person? Yes. What about one partnership? Partnership is a legal person. No? Why? Why? I just read the Article 37 of the General Principles of Civil Code. Because a partnership cannot bear independent civil legal liability. So certainly, it's not a legal person, not a legal person, only a personal association. I have some advice in the end of this first page. In China, always read the law and read the next page. I learned this lesson from Professor Robert Wooten from Northwestern School of Law. Because when I studied taxation in U.S., taxation law is statutory law. It's you can regard U.S. taxation system as some kind of civil legal system. Cases don't matter in taxation. Law and regulations matters. Professor Wooten taught us that you should always read the law and read the next page, especially when we study civil law system. Cases doesn't matter. There are no cases in China, especially in practice. You cannot sign any kind of case in court. No authority. Which kind of authority a case plays in common law system? We are from common law system. Cases are law. Cases are law. But a civil system, cases plays no rule at all. So try to read the law and read the next page. Try to find out a structure, a legal structure, legal practical structure between the lines of articles and chapters and the whole code. Today, I will give you such structure. Now we get into the Chinese corporate law. One moment ago, I just defined corporation as a legal person or enterprise for profit. If you read Chinese corporate law, who brings Chinese corporate law? if you read Chinese corporate law, there is a definition of a corporation. See Article 2 and Article 3. Article 2 says a corporation includes a limited liability corporation, a company, and a share or shareholding corporation. Article 3 says a corporation is an enterprise legal person. Legal person. And also an enterprise. And it has independent property. Independent property. And this is the original language. Independent property. What's the meaning of independent property? Probably the word independent is from the Article 7 of General Principles of Civil Code. A corporation can bear independent legal liability through or relying upon its property. The property. And also, a legal person can enjoy property right. Which kind of legal liability a corporation can bear, can take? Which kind of? Limited? Limited? Honestly speaking, Chinese corporate law, most of the articles are copied from U.S. corporate law. We are from common law system. Which kind of legal liability can a corporation in common law system to bear? Limited? Unlimited? Why Article 2 of corporate law says a corporation is, includes a limited liability company and a share or shareholding corporation? By the words limited or unlimited, only refer to the shareholders of a company, not a company or a corporation. Common law system, a corporation bears unlimited, because you are a legal person. You're a legal person. Who bears limited liability? Only shareholders, only investors, only the masters of a corporation. Never say a corporation bears limited liability. No way. Legal person, just like a natural person. If a natural person can bear unlimited legal liability, why a legal person only bears limited liability? Why? Nonsense. Only the investors, shareholders, can bear limited liability. From an economic viewpoint, to reduce investment risk, to reduce a person's financial property risk in the management of corporate business. This is the meaning of limited or unlimited liability. And also, there is a concept of limited liability company in the United States or in other common law system? Probably you all know that. LLC. LLC. What's the nature of an LLC? Is LLC the same as a limited liability company in China? LLC. LLP. Limited liability company. Limited liability partnership. LLC in US. In corporate law, it's a limited liability company. But in taxation, it's a partnership. So it's totally different from US LLC and Chinese limited liability company. Never shorten limited liability company as a LLC. Use the whole name. Okay. That's good. Okay, go to general principles on setting up a corporation. We just learned general principles of Chinese civil code. Now, every Chinese law, if you read the Chinese law, every kind of statute, there should be some 3 to 6 articles discuss basic general principles in this area. Whenever I discuss learning law in China or learning law in US, I always ask one question, especially in civil law system. Which kind of legal concept is the most important legal concept you should grasp and always remember? And then from this legal concept, you can go to every other statute in China. Which one? Yesterday you just began to learn Chinese legal system. Probably the very beginning is an introduction to Chinese legal system. Which kind of legal concept? In conception legal school, it's the most important. If you can understand, if you can grasp this concept, you can understand the whole Chinese legal system very easily. And you can build up a whole structure for the whole legal system and for each statute, for each law and regulations. In common law system, there's no such concept. US legal system. 4 basic laws. They all equal. 4 basic laws all equal. If you disagree with me, we can just begin our debate. First, Constitution. I mean equally stand equal. Second, property. In the first year of US law school, 4 basic laws. Third, contract. 4, procedure. Civil procedure. Or criminal procedure. They all equal. There is no such order between these 4 laws. Can we say Constitution has the highest authority against contract law, against property law in common law system? Can we see this? Can we draw this conclusion? We all from common law system. Can we? No way. No way. They can interpret and they can translate it, and they can introduce to each other, but they are equal. My understanding. Some scholars may have different views. In China, there is an order of laws and regulations. The highest law is Constitution. Highest Constitution. The second level of authority is criminal law, including criminal procedures. Civil law, including civil procedures, and administrative law, including administrative procedures. Second order of laws in China. First order, Constitution. Second order, three. Probably you heard there is a fourth Chinese legal, we can call it school, a legal school, yeah, we can call it economic law, economically legal system. Which kind of order can we put this economic law? Chinese economic law is, my understanding is the only country has such kind of categories in China, in this world. Economic law includes anti-unfair competition, customers protective measures, and anti-monopoly laws, and the laws we will discuss on this Thursday, employee laws. Which kind of standard can we put all these kind of regulations or laws into these such subcategories? No way, because there is a historic, we can say, political debate in Chinese legal education, legal systems establishment in 1980s. At that time, many scholars believed that we should have an economic law system. But now, we have another word for this kind of law. If you read some Chinese legal document, there should be some from at this moment I always see civil legal system. But many people say civil and commercial legal system. If we compare the word commercial, what's the meaning of commercial? Commercial means economic. That means there is a debate, some kind of a war between economical legal school and civil legal school. And they use commercial law. Today, corporate law is a subject of Chinese civil commercial law. But the economical legal school also has this kind of classes. They also teach corporate, also teach contract. What's the reason? No reason. Historic background. But if we want to understand Chinese nowadays legal system, which kind of order we put, if we accept the concept of economic law, we put this economic law system under the third order, between civil and commercial and administrative law, because in China, economic system is a mixed legal system between civil and administrative laws. Whenever you read some economic laws in China, always remember what I said today. Understand the economic law, for example, the employee law, from civil law system, from administrative law. From these two different standpoints, you can easily understand. Back to my question. Which kind of legal concept is the most important concept to understand this whole structure of Chinese legal system? There is a class in Chinese legal, every law school, called in US called jurisprudence, in China called legal philosophy. This concept is in this textbook. We call it legal relationship. Legal relationship is the most important legal concept you should understand. If you can understand legal relationship, this concept in civil system, you can easily read and understand every kind of Chinese law. Each and every legal relationship includes three basic elements: subject matter or subjective matter. Because the parties participated in this relationship. Object matter or objective matter, the target of this legal relationship. And content. Content means right and obligations. Content of a legal relationship. Right and obligations. Parties. Subject matter. Parties producing or participate in the relationship. Every Chinese law adjusts a special kind of legal relationships. Which kind of legal relationship a corporate law adjusts in China? From the big picture itself, business, commercial, or exchange. But most importantly, parties. Corporate law is some provisions on parties for a legal relationship. We are setting up a parties legal person. We are setting up a legal person. In other words, a constitutional legal provisions on how to produce a legal person, how to produce parties participate in some economic legal relationships. Article 6 to Article 14 gives us basic principles to set up such subject matter of legal relationship. First, registration. There should be a registration. Non-registration, no legal person. It's mandatory. After registration, business license. Business license. We call it a business license certificate shall be issued by the relevant registry authority. Without license, illegal, non-legal person. Name. Show the name to the public. If you limited liability company, show the word limited liability company in your name. Sure. Otherwise, illegal. I said, both formalistically and substantially, you should conform to the corporate law. These are formalistic. If you do not do these three steps, registration and get license, name, seal. Every business enterprise in China has its own seal. Name of the seal shall show the nature of this legal person. Limited liability company or share company, a corporation. I intentionally use company to distinguish corporation because in practice, all shareholding corporation, they call it corporation or incorporation, to show they issue shares in China. Other kind of limited liability corporations, they generally use CO and dot or company, not corporation. Just in practical sense, but in our discussion, we know this difference. It's okay. 3, formalistic principles. Registration, license, and name. Continue. A limited liability company can be transformed into a share corporation. If all the terms and conditions of the corporate law concerning to set up a share corporation can be satisfied. You can transform a limited liability company into a share corporation. When I read the Article 37 of General Principles of Civil Code, there should be a business place for a legal person. Now, here, residence. where is the corporation's residence? Major business place or primary business place is the residence of the corporation. And there should be a legal representative of this corporation. There should be some agent to represent the legal person to do business with third parties. First, registration. Second, license. Third, name, seal, name. Fourth, residence. 5, legal representative. Some people can sign to represent the corporation. And finally, as a legal person, it can also set up another legal person. Set up a branch, subsidiary, a son corporation, a grandson corporation. Branch is not a legal person, is a part of the corporation. There is no independent legal status for a branch. A branch cannot represent the corporate. Yeah, cannot represent the whole corporation. General principles of setting up a corporation in China. Most of them are formalistic. Some are substantial. For example, legal representative, substantial. Branch and sub, substantial. And the most important, all these are parts, organs of this structure of this legal person. Heart, mind. What's the heart of this corporation? How can this corporation make decision? Substantial. Articles of incorporation. Articles. Chapter. Articles of incorporation. Without articles of incorporation, corporation cannot think, cannot make a decision, cannot do anything. The heart, substantial. Now, we go to the concrete steps of forming a limited liability company. Article 23 to Article 36. We have 5 legal conditions to satisfy in order to form a limited liability company in China. If I recite the provisions of the general principles of civil code, you know, we only satisfy 4 conditions. 4 conditions to produce a legal person. Now, we have 5. What if, in legal sense, these 5 conditions breaches the 4 provisions of the civil general principles. How to solve this kind of legal issue? If I set up a legal person, I won't call it whichever I call it, a legal person, according to the general principles of the civil code. I satisfy all 4 provisions, but I didn't satisfy these 5. Can we call it a legal person in China under the general principles of civil code? This is a theoretical problem. People make